Good morning. Good morning. So nice to see everybody. My name is Foster Perry. My pronouns are he and him, and I am your pulpit host today. On behalf of the congregation, I'd like to welcome all of you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville on this chilly seasonal morning. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of Native tribes. Whether you have joined us online or you are here in our sanctuary, we are glad to have you with us on the sacred time we choose to be together. Our congregation is served by our minister, the Reverend Jaimie Simon, who is available for pastoral care and to answer questions about Unitarian Universalism. She may be reached at minister@uuch.org. If you are a newcomer, please sign our guest book, which is in the foyer, to receive our weekly email newsletter. Also, if you'd be so kind as to take a moment and silence your electronic devices, your cell phones and iPads, and et cetera, et cetera. If you have a joy or sorrow or important milestone that you would like shared during the circle of candles and included in the pastoral prayer, please write it on one of these white cards. Just one side. And there's room to print your name and write up your joy or sorrow. I encourage you to do so. Share it with the rest of the congregation. And they're in the hymnal rack, right, by the hymnals. For community news and events, please check our email newsletter website and the paper insert in your order of service. There's quite a number of announcements in that this week. And one thing I do want to emphasize is the Share the Plate, which is our monthly Share the Plate.
Yes, and we were going to show you a video about Project Share, but that video decided not to function for us this morning. So let me tell you just a little bit about Project Share that we're sharing our plate with this morning. So Project Share is a project through Huntsville Utilities that helps those in our community who are elderly, folks with disabilities, and folks who are low income get through the winter by helping to pay their utility bills and help with home improvements and different projects that make surviving the winter down here just a little bit easier for our neighbors. So half of what you give this morning as part of our offering will be shared with that important work, so please be generous. Thank you.
Also want to point out, after our service, everyone is welcome to join us in the fellowship hall, which is to my right, your left, through those double doors, for potluck. If it's your first visit or you were unable to bring a dish, please join us anyways. You can bring something perhaps next month. It's always the first Sunday of every month. We always have plenty of food. Now I would like to invite Miss Alexis to come forward and to bring the singing bowl to help us enter into the service more deeply. Thank you, Alexis. Finally, having gathered in a shared quest for truth and meaning and purpose, let us light our chalice with these words. I don't have anybody to light the chalice. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. And now, to help center yourself and quiet your mind, we will have our music for centering, followed by our thread song.
Good morning, friends. Welcome in, welcome here to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville. My name is Reverend Jaimie Simon. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and it is my privilege to serve you all as the minister of this congregation. This morning, I invite you to center in with these words from Elizabeth Parrish. Come into this house of worship. Come in and find peace and rest, inspiration and aspiration, fellowship and love. Come in and find light for your darkness, a friend's gentle touch for your loneliness, and music, gentle music for your soul. Come in and let your heart sing for all the blessings that are yours this day. Come in. You are beloved here. Thank you for joining us this morning. And as we have entered the season of Advent, celebrated by our Christian neighbors, I invite you into this time of lighting the lights of the season. These words from Reverend Rosemary Morrison. The placing of candles upon a circle of evergreens is an age-old tradition. We are warmed by the glow and reminded that the wheels of the season turn and turn, bringing days longer and longer. The original Advent wreath, fun fact, dates back to the 16th century, and it included a candle for each of the 24 days leading up to Christmas. That would be a lot of candles for us to have this morning, so we're grateful that we just have the 4. And last week we would have lit the candle of hope. And so, all right, Tim's lit one of our candles of hope. Hope is the motivating force that moves us through times of despair. With hope, we begin our journey toward the sun, toward new life. We light this candle of hope. And for today, week 2, the week of peace, will you please light one of the other purple candles? The second candle on the Advent wreath represents peace. In this time of expectancy and celebration, let's hold on to that ideal. Even though wars and violence rage around the world, and sometimes in our own hearts, we look for peace to arrive, gently opening our spirits. We light this candle of peace to remind us that peace will come to us. With the lights of our season lit ablaze, I invite you now to rise in body or spirit to sing our opening hymn. It's number 146 in the gray hymnal, 146, and it's called Soon the Day Will Arrive.
Soon the day will arrive when we will be together, and no longer will we live in fear. And the children will smile, wondering whether on that day thunderclouds will appear. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share
we sing our first hymn, it's our tradition to sing our doxology in English and in Spanish, and then to speak together our words of aspiration. And when we speak those words, we turn and face one another so we can say them to each other as words of promise and community. Let's sing. And service be its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration. And now you may all be seated, and I'm going to turn it over to John Chehersky and our musicians this morning for a UUCH tradition.
Thank you. John McCutcheon wrote this song, it's been a little over 40 years ago, and within a couple of years after it was published, sometime soon, he was performing in a little folk festival in the town of Turandot in Denmark, and he noticed that there was this group of really, really old German men that would come across the border and show up at his shows, and maybe they'd be a little late sometimes, so they would line up on the sides of the aisles, and they would be expressionless. Finish the show, they would just turn and walk out and go away. And it happened show after show after show. And so he's thinking, who are these guys? And finally, one show is just curiosity got the best of him, and he finishes his last song and hops off the stage and runs up the aisle and catches the last old man. And he said, you guys have been so sweet showing up at these shows. What's the deal? And the old man said, well, we're here because of that song. And he said, what song? He said, well, you know, the one that's been on the radio, and it's how we found out about you and this folk festival. And then he said, you know, all our lives, our families, friends told us we were crazy. They told us it just couldn't have happened that way. Now we hear your song on the radio and we say, see? Because we were there. And these old guys talking to him at that time, 40 years ago, really were there for the Christmas truce of 1914, 111 years ago. My name is Francis Tolliver. I come from Liverpool. 2 years ago, the war was waiting for me after school. To Belgium and to Flanders, to Germany, to here. I fought for king and country I loved dear. 'Twas Christmas in the trenches where the frost so bitter hung. The frozen fields of France were still, no Christmas song was sung. Our families back in England were toasting us that day. They're brave and glorious lads so far away. Well, I was lying with my messmate on the cold and rocky ground, when across the lines of battle came a most peculiar sound. Says I, now listen up, me boys, each soldier strained to hear, as one young German voice sang out so clear. He's singing bloody well, you know, my partner says to me. Soon one by one each German voice joined in harmony. The cannons rested silent, the gas cloud rolled no more, as Christmas brought us respite from the war. As soon as they were finished, and a reverent pause was spent, God rest ye merry gentlemen, struck up some lads from Kent. The next they sang was Stille Nacht, 'tis silent night, says I, and into tongues one song filled up that sky. There's someone coming towards us, the frontline sentry cried. All sights were fixed on one lone figure trudging from their side. His truce flag like a Christmas star shone on that plain so bright, as he bravely strode unarmed into the night. Then one by one on either side walked into no man's land. With neither gun nor bayonet, we met there hand to hand. We shared some secret brandy, we wished each other well, and in a flare-lit soccer game we gave 'em hell. We traded chocolates, cigarettes, photographs from home. These sons and fathers far away from families of their own. Young Sanders played his squeeze box, and they had a violin. This curious and unlikely band of men. Soon daylight stole upon us, and France was France once more. With sad farewells we each began to settle back to war. But the question haunted every heart that beat that wondrous night: whose family have I fixed within my sights. 'Twas Christmas in the trenches, where the frost so bitter hung. The frozen fields of France were warmed as songs of peace were sung. For the walls they'd kept between us to exact the work of war had been crumbled and were gone forevermore. Oh, my name is Francis Tolliver. In Liverpool I dwell. Each Christmas come since World War I. I've learned its lessons well. That the ones who call the shots won't be among the dead and lame. And on each end of the rifle, we're the same.
Thank you so much to our fabulous musicians. This has been a tradition at UUCH for 30, 35 years, something like that, that they've sung this for us on our day of peace each Christmas season. Thank you, friends. And now I'd like to invite forward Jess Zelaya, our Director of Religious Education, and any children and youth out there who might want to come forward and hear the story this morning. Thanks, friends. Come on up.
Good morning. Today's book is called Winter Candle. It is by Jaron Ashford, and it was illustrated by Stacy Shewart. Now, I have a candle here, and I'm going to pass this to one of you, and you can pass it among yourselves while I read the story. Okay? So you're going to pass it to each person? Yes. Winter Candle. Nana Clover checked her list. Turkey in the oven, potatoes peeled, napkins folded just so, candles. How could she have forgotten? Thanksgiving at 3C Juniper Court without candles. Unheard of. Down she padded 3 flights of stairs to the super. Candles, Nancy? Asked Trev. He opened a drawer and handed her a lumpy stick of wax. It's not pretty, but it'll burn. Nana Clover spread some pine cones and leaves around the frumpy candle. By the time their Thanksgiving guest arrived, the centerpiece glowed. 2 weeks later, 2G was in an uproar. The Havdalah candle's not here, Nat yelled from the closet. In the kitchen, Mom sighed. I forgot to buy a new one. Avi's lip quivered. But the stars will be out soon. Sha. It's not the end of the world, Grandpa told the Danziger children. Avi, go ask a neighbor for a candle. Up Avi clattered and rapped on Nana Clover's door. And down he clumped with the bumpy, drooping candle. Avi's brothers stared. That's not a $50 candle, Sam groaned. It's not braided. It only has one wick, Nat complained. It's not pretty, agreed Grandpa, but a candle is blessed by what it does, not by how it looks. It'll shine, and shine it did. As Mom raised it high, Grandpa said the blessing to end the Sabbath. Avi held his hands to the light. They'd never had a $50 candle that burned so bright. 4 mornings later, it was 4D's turn for disaster. It's broken, Kristen wailed. Liv came running. 1, 2, 3, 4 candles on the St. Lucia crown. And the 5th one was snapped in 2. Our cousins will be here any minute, said Kristen. How can I be St. Lucia with only 4 candles? Liv started to cry. No St. Lucia crown and no special St. Lucia breakfast. Girls, we will have plenty of time, Mom reassured them. Kristen, go ask a neighbor for another candle. Down Kristen dashed 2 flights of stairs to the Danzingers and came back with the funniest looking candle the girls had ever seen. Everyone will laugh at me. Can we sit down so everyone can see? Sit down. Thank you. But nobody laughed because Kristen carried in the teapot and the St. Lucia buns, and the funny-looking candle gleamed as brightly as the Star of Bethlehem. Winter came, snow fell, and presents were exchanged. The new year began, and in 5A, it began with a calamity. Jamila's got something in her mouth, Dante hollered, and I don't think it's food. Dad scooped the baby up and stuck his finger in her mouth. A piece of wax, a bit of string. Oh no, Dante howled. Jamila ate the faith candle for the Canara. Go see if the Ericksons have one, his sister Monte suggested. Down the stairs, Dante plodded and knocked on the door. You're lucky. We still have this one, Kristen said. She handed him the bedraggled candle, but Dante didn't feel lucky. How could they talk about faith with such a sorry thing? And it wasn't even the right color. But when Dad lit the stubby candle, the flame leaped and danced, inviting the other 6 candles to do the same. A few days later, the biggest snowstorm of the season. The snow blanketed the front steps and made drifts on the windowsills, and then just after nightfall, the electricity went out. Flashlights' beams flickered in a few windows. In 5B, the newest family at Juniper Court sat huddled together in the dark. Their clothes were still in suitcases, their dishes still in boxes. And Papa was somewhere in the city with a moving truck full of furniture. How will Papa find us? Nazarene asked. The street lights are out. If Papa won't be able to find us, there's too much snow, said Farouk. Of course he will find us, Mama said. Nazarene, go next door and ask the neighbors for a candle. We'll put it in the window to light Papa's way. Next door, Dante scratched his head. I think there's one left over from Kwanzaa, he told Nazarene. He returned with a lump of wax that looked like a fairy tale troll. Nazarene's mother lit the candle and set it on the windowsill. How's Papa going to see, though, with one candle in such a big city? Farouk asked. But as they watched, the flame shimmered and grew. It glittered on the falling snowflakes until the dark street seemed spun with stars. Many blocks away, Papa steered the big truck through the snow-covered streets. What did the sign say? Pine Street? Vine Street? But then Papa noticed a glow up ahead. Maybe someone there could give him directions. Papa steered left. He steered right and then left, closer and closer to the glowing light. Papa turned a corner and gasped. There in front of him, 5 stories up, shone a warm, welcoming light. He was home. Papa climbed 3 floors, 4 floors, 5 floors, and then, Papa's here, Nazarene and Farouk flew down the hall and into their father's arms. Come see our new house, Papa, said Nazarene. And look, everyone else is coming up too. The little apartment filled with neighbors. Dante's family brought chairs and a folding table. Nana Clover made a bed out of blankets for Nazarene and Farouk. Trev brought a small heater. The Erickson girls and their mother made sandwiches. And the Danzigers put a pot of soup to warm on the camping stove. Everyone welcomed Nazarene and Farouk and Mama and Papa to their new home. And the gnarled little candle glowed so brightly in the window that when the electricity finally came back on, no one even noticed. The end. Let us now sing our children out.
We are the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville, a proudly inclusive spiritual community, and together we build a broader search for meaning, a bolder form of compassion, and a braver voice for justice. At this time, we invite you to support our mission with a monetary contribution. You may donate online using the QR code or on the order of, which is on the order of service, or you may put cash or check donations in the offering baskets. Completed Circle of Candles cards should also be placed in the offering baskets. You are invited to come forward during this time, if you wish, and quietly drop a stone into the bowl of water next to the ramp in honor or memory of whatever you hold in your heart. With gratitude, we now receive your offering.
Friends, will you join me now for a time of prayer, meditation, reflection, quiet centering? Spirit of life, be with us as we are with one another. Hold us in our joys and our sorrows as we share these with our community. This morning we hold big joys. Barbara and Gary Hitt share with us that they celebrated their 58th wedding anniversary on their Thanksgiving trip to the beach with their family this year. Congratulations. LaDawn Edwards shares joy that I echo deeply. Pride for our UUCH community who stepped up yesterday to feed our hungry neighbors by partnering with One Generation to give away 100 boxes of food. Thank you to the over 20 volunteers that made this happen, and of course, big thanks to Melody Breyer who organized this effort. And this week, the Ministerial Fellowship Committee of the Unitarian Universalist Association met to meet with new ministers who are hoping to serve our movement. And I wanted to share with you that our friend Nicole Jacobson, she was here to preach last week, passed her interview this week and was welcomed into fellowship. So joy for Nicole, congratulations. As we hold these joys together, we know that there is sorrow amongst us too, especially in this season. Betsy Applegate shares a sorrow in memory of her great uncle, PFC Franklin McCord, who was killed at Pearl Harbor on December 7th. We thank him for his service. In this space, there have been joys spoken, sorrows shared, and there are joys held in our hearts, bright lights we're keeping quiet for now, sorrows too, perhaps too tender to share, but still poignant in our lives. Let us take a breath for all these. And may we say, blessed be, amen, and sing in response, meditation on breathing.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Will you come with me on this journey? With every breath we take, keep reaching for the dawn. I
but with a good friend near me, I will carry on. This song, Come With Me, is written by a UU folk singer, Joe Jenks. It's part of the band Brother Son. And he sings this song and he tells the story about it. There was a river running through a canyon, and Joe decided to go for a swim. And for a while, everything was okay. It was beautiful and peaceful, winding through the canyon. But then, as the day got a little later, as Joe's body got a little more tired, the current became stronger and faster. Suddenly, it was all he could do to keep his face above the water. He could feel panic rising up in him. And on the shore, his friends were yelling and screaming, trying to help him. But Joe just kept struggling. Until finally, another stranger swimming in the river saw him and swam to his side. She didn't scoop him out. Probably couldn't, he's a pretty big guy. But she treaded water next to him. She held on to him and invited him to hold onto her so he could catch his breath. Slowly, the panic left Joe's body, the color returning to his face. When he'd caught his breath, the stranger said, "Okay, you're ready. Let's keep swimming." Joe thought, of course, that she was there to save him, but what she did was even better, he remembers. She supported him through a rough spot, gave him her strength, and allowed him to continue under his own power. She reminded him to take a deep breath, breathe out the panic, and keep on swimming. Beloveds, it is true that alone we will falter, but with a good friend near us, we will carry on. The truth I want to stay with you this day is this: none of us are built to go it alone. It is as much a joy as it is our human evolutionary need to reach out and support each other. It's our deep calling to care and be community for one another. And sometimes it's easy to see what people need in the moment, right? It's clear, it's obvious how we can show up and show love. When someone is struggling in the water, it's pretty clear that we should go out to them if you're, lifeguard trained or good at swimming and able to help them in that way, to steady them and help them catch their breath. It's a clear way to help. Or when we know that our community is struggling, when we know that people have gone without paychecks and are struggling with grocery prices, to hand out 100 boxes of groceries. What an obvious, clear way to help, to show love and support, like our care and social justice team did yesterday. But just as often, in our spiraling, interconnected lives, the way to show up is not as clear. We want to be a good friend, we want to be a proud community member, but how? We want to show up in ways that matter, that meet the need, that don't cause any undue harm. We want to be a candle in the darkness, lighting each other's ways home, a reminder that love and connection are possible, even in the most unlikely places. But sometimes life deals our friends and our family turmoil and tragedy, and in those moments it can be hard to know what to do. I've been reading a fantastic book lately by Kelsey Crowe and Emily McDowell. It's called "There's No Good Card for This: What to Say and Do When Life is Scary and Awful and Unfair to People You Love." Highly recommend it. The whole thing's a delight, but I've been stuck on the framework that they offer us in the beginning of the book. The belief that they're projecting, that I believe too, is that we are each capable of showing up for the people in our lives, of being true community members, of being candles in the darkness. And I believe this because of what the authors are calling the 3 touchstones of showing up. They are this. 1, your kindness is the credential you need. 2, listening itself speaks volumes. 3, it's the small gestures that make the biggest difference. Quick show of hands. Is there anyone in this room that has a friend or a family member or a colleague at work or a friend from school that's just going through an absolutely terrible time? Yup, that's most of us. We know this road. All of us know someone, now or at some point in the future, who will struggle with a diagnosis, someone who's suffering from depression or addiction or other mental health issues. All of us know someone who hasn't been able to catch a break over and over and over again, and they feel like they're buried in debt and heartbreak. And as much as we care and as much as we love them, we find it tough to know how to reach out, how to be that light in the darkness for people. So we look to these touchstones. We affirm that kindness itself is our credential. Caring about someone, giving a blank about whatever happens to them, wanting things to be better, to be easier, wanting to show love, that desire in your heart is all that you need, right? That desire is your credential. It's what tells you that you are good enough, you are the person worth taking that action. If you care about someone, then you can be the one who shows up to offer that care. When people are struggling, when they're in the darkness of grief and loss and confusion or whatever else, I gotta tell you, they're not looking to their friends and their family and their community to have the most perfect words that will solve their problem. Often, these kinds of problems we're thinking about, there's no words in the world you can say to solve them, right? And you're certainly not gonna fix everything by stringing together the perfect set of words in a text message sent anxiously from your living room couch, right? Your friends don't need perfection, but they need real, honest heart reaching out to remind them they aren't alone. And we affirm that listening speaks volumes. The person you want to support does not need to hear all of your thoughts about what is happening to them. They don't need your anxious curiosity or your story about someone else who went through something similar, especially if that story doesn't end well. Right? Right? We know this. But a quick, I'm sorry for what you're going through. Do you want to tell me about it? That could do so much more, right? People need other people to listen to them. Offering an ear is a gift, even imperfectly. And finally, we affirm that it is the small gestures that make a big difference. A few months ago, I was having one of those days. You may very well know these kinds of days, the days where things go wrong and everyone's angry with you and you're frustrated and on edge and terrible and it feels like the sky is falling. Have we had days like this, friends? Yep. And the next morning I went downstairs and I had my cup of coffee and I was trying to get ready for another day, feeling that weight of the day before. And I opened up my laptop. And on my laptop screen, my sweet husband Will had placed a Post-it note, 6 words that read, "I believe in you, love Will." And nothing was different, but everything was different. Alone, I will falter, but with a good friend near me, I will carry on. Friends, in this winter season, we will light a whole lot of candles, but none of them will burn brighter than the light of love that burns when we reach out to care for others in our community. We know that at this time of year, some of the pains of life are so raw and so sharp and so at the surface. And while our love and friendship can't change everything, it can change a lot. It can change enough to soothe the pain and meet the need. In this holiday season, remember that you can be a candle in the darkness. You can share a little brightness with the people around you. Alone, friends, you will falter. But with community around us, we will all carry on. May it be so. So may it be. To close, I invite you to sing our final hymn. It's called Pass on the Light. The music is in your order of service if you want to look on, and our choir was practicing it this morning, and they sounded fabulous, so you'll hear their voices all throughout the room. Let's rise in body and spirit to sing Pass on the Light.
Let us now take a moment to extinguish our chalice with these words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Thank you, Foster. Friends, our worship service now comes to a close. Thank you for being with us this morning. I'll be at the back of the sanctuary for a little bit to greet you, but as always, you're going to want to go this way so you can go to potluck. The kitchen smelled really good this morning, so I think it's going to be a great time. Let us go forth with this truth from the Reverend Michelle Collins. Go forth knowing that hope is not a certainty, but a choice. When the world offers you despair, choose possibility. When cynicism seems reasonable, choose community. May our hope be grounded in love and expressed through action. And may we return here to these people in this place and choose hope together again. Amen. Blessed be, and we'll go out singing our rite of community, Be Thou With Us. Blessed be, amen, and go in peace.